Faith is something that is really hard to find. So take it on yourself and keep your head up straight. Brighter days will come, so you better be prepared. When it all comes crashing down on us, crashing down. Vision is clouded. It feels like we've been aging faster. I feel so secluded. I really wish that things got better. It's been hard to keep my composure, and I really want it to be over. In a sense, in summer race, we come back swinging. It all comes crashing down on us. Stand your ground. Faith is something that is really hard to find. So take it on yourself and keep your head up straight. Brighter days will come, so you better be prepared. When it all comes crashing
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. We are 2 games through our Rocket League lineup for tonight. The Broncos came out to a smashing start in the first game, getting a complete sweep against Cal Berkeley. And then, much like Icarus in the Sky, fell back down to earth against University of South Florida, losing that match 1-3. And there's just one more match left to determine the possible ending mood of the night. Boise State versus Michigan State. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. I'm joined by Artemis Rain, calling all of the action. So what do you think was kind of the main thing that fell apart? A lot of those great regional rivalries, if you're familiar with the Mountain West scene, cannot wait to see what happens as we go on into this game, though. However, thank you, Michigan State, for cooperating on that. You guys have some sick jackets, by the way. But more than jackets, Durtho was just going to say, and actually, with the others, they have to fill up on boost first before they go in for the play. Now Preston off the wall, saying it over to Gill. A 1-2 shot, it connects. The Broncos up 2.
And my brain does not remember the time on the clock. But we could see overtime here.
Yeah, I think it was a little over a minute.
A little over?
A little over. Oh, no.
We are a little over, Jacob.
Yeah, you know, I'm the one that's a little over.
You keep the same pace, you keep it steady, but then during that last quarter mile, you gun it. You put every last ounce of energy you have into it, and it seems like that roughly 2 minutes now. The Broncos just need to get a breakaway like Gill is presenting right now, but Knock is there. Someone needs to start applying the pressure, and there it finally is. That's goal number 1 for Boise.
And it left Michigan State with an opening.
Saying we're getting boost starved, because if we're getting boost starved, Durtho don't need the boost when he comes off a kickoff to find the equalizer. But Knock is there again. Durtho with the pinch off the backboard, and he shot the
there you go. The Broncos have brought this back to 1 apiece against the Spartans. But Michigan State holding the Broncos to no more than a 1-goal lead. These have been behind the goal. Now Mar moving back upfield toward mid. Gale pinches it off the wall. Back over toward Durtho. Takes a shot. It's a bit too far to the left. Follow up. Tag team dynamic.
Preston, they're all there. Just need to connect something and make a play happen. It's Gill in the air. Leaves it for Preston. And somehow, I think Knock might have had a slight touch on State, but Durtho is not giving up on the opportunity to set something up while Gill comes off respawn. There's Gill in the corner. Can Gill play it around Mar? Mar loses possession.
Closing in on the halfway mark. Preston moves in. Shot on goal. Saved by Mar.
Come on, there's a follow-up.
Therefore, follow-up. There is. You called it, Nerdy.
You have big claims, and if there's anything to judge on how the current quadruple A release is going,
maybe that's not the best omen for the Broncos. You know what? A quintuple final chapter of the night. Will the Broncos end on a positive or negative note as they go up against the Michigan State Spartans? We are in Game 4 with the Broncos at match point. Who will take home? And really bringing out too much theming, whereas the other team has been. We've seen battle buses, watermelons, and now presents.
Look, fashion is not their strong suit.
But
Rocket League tends to be. It's a reset play. Preston to Durtho off the wall. Slight touch sends it to Gill, but it's taken away again by Knock.
Setting it up. Quick shot by Preston. No, off the back post.
Just demo
so close.
Just demo one of them. I've seen you do it. There's accolades on both sides.
But the defense has been ironclad for the Spartans. And with just 4 seconds left, one more goal.
Follow-up position in time. That's goal for Michigan.
Yeah, you said a little earlier, Nerdy, just not having the cameras on us because I was grimacing through that whole scenario. Oh, nice shot by Durtho, but Knock will be right there. It's a nice play by Gill. Durtho unable to spike it down, and
there we go.
Without a boost, and couldn't make that final elevation up to get the spike. And that will do it for this game. Michigan State, the Spartans, will walk away with the victory in Game 5. Grazes the ball by a few pixels, but it's the perfect angle to go into the goal. Not only that, but if you follow Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League, you can have a lot of success. Those keys are to set your play style, understand your rotations, play to follow up, and employ those sweaty comms. It's all brought to you by Dropping Gaming. Durtho tries to take a dribble, but it is stopped by Yagami. We also got Boehner and Sap on deck. And Sap places a shot on the goal very quickly. Preston reads it and is able to save. Durtho now moving back up the field, trying to gain the Broncos some ground. Gonna leave it for Gil. Shot toward the goal. It connects, and the Broncos are in the lead.
Sap in the corner. Durtho is attempting to set something up again. Does manage to fake out two, and Gil comes in, finds the chink in the armor. That
Can't make contact with the ball. In the corner, Durtho will pass back to Preston. Quick shot on goal, up the crossbar. That is the hammer slamming down into the...
The question is, does it come true, or does Doc pull out the whiteboard?
Or it does, yeah.
Bounce it past two. Double commit. Will Gil make the rotation in time? Barely gets contact and tries to send it to Durtho. Grab that mega boost. Preston cuts in. Preston pops the ball up, challenged by Yagami on the ground. It's Banger, but the shot ain't right. And the follow-up from Sap is got a minute and 3 seconds on the clock.
1 minute, and Durtho trying to make something happen, but it gets blocked by Yagami in mid-air. Preston passes to Gil. Shot on goal. They find it. Nice elevation by Yagami. Gets another save for the Bulls. And the Broncos score, and they can! Gil finds a way to just sneak it in there.
Can they keep that morality up as it's Gil with the save, sends it to Preston. Demo onto Gil by Yagami, meaning Yagami is deep into that defensive territory. And the demo onto Keeper. It seemed like something was just a little bit off kilter. Of course, at the end of the day, we're just making speculation as we're going to jump into game number 4.
Kidding me, Yagami! He's game away from the Broncos in game 4. And that was quite the comeback, I must say, especially in games 3 and 4. That was kind of the peak of the Bulls. They just Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. We are here today for a NACE Star League match. Boise State going up against University of Kansas. It's a Division I matchup in a very competitive roster, so a lot at stake in this particular night. My name's Jacob Palmer. I'm going to be calling all of the action for you here today, and I welcome you this Monday. Hope that as far as Mondays are concerned, this one went relatively smoothly for you. We got a great game here, hopefully to cure any Monday blues that anyone might have. So let's get into this particular game and talk about what's at stake here. We got the Boise State Broncos going up against Kansas, and this is the Division I roster. So Boise State, there was a huge shakeup in the Division I conference last week. They lost a few matches against some people they had expected to win against. They went up against University of South Florida. Previously had no win to their names, but Boise State unexpectedly dropped that game, giving South Florida one in their win column, and that makes every single team having a mix of wins and losses, and things have really started to bunch up around the middle of the bracket. Boise State currently sitting at 2-2 against Kansas 2-1, so you can see overall, Boise State wanting to get into the lead for this conference. This is an extremely important match. Either Boise State is going to end this match in the loss column overall or win column overall. And you can kind of see as we're getting kind of midway through the season, this could have huge repercussions in who actually makes it to playoffs and who might be knocked down to last chance qualifier territory. A lot at stake. And when you have a lot at stake, you're going to want to follow the best advice that you can possibly get. And for us, that's in the form of Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League. And that's going to be to set your play style, understand your rotations, play to follow up, and employ those sweaty comms. It's all brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. All right, we are on deck with the Kansas Jayhawks, and we'll see if they can pull out a victory against Boise State. Last week was really a rough run for the Broncos, so we'll see if they can. We'll see if the Broncos can recover against everything that's been thrown at them. A lot of the games that Boise State lost in terms of Rocket League, Overwatch, and then we started to get some wins in Valorant, but the first half of last week was pretty brutal for the Broncos, so let's hope that we can start this week off on a really good note and put the Broncos in a win column for the first game. And NACE Star League, these games typically are best of 5, so we will be starting out there. Starting out on just standard stadium map before we head on to Forbidden Temple, which has always been nice. I just wish that my favorite stage could have had a backdrop of the Broncos winning a little bit more, but we'll see if that can all change here today. And I'm really going to be looking for, I think the main thing that really kind of evaded the Broncos, we can see them right there, all of them, loading back up onto stage. You got Durtho in the center, Woozy off to the left, and then we've got Preston and Gill off to the right. You don't quite see them on camera, but I do know that they are there. So you've got a representative of basically all of the Rocket League teams. Well, I did see Gill there. Preston's, right beside Durtho, but the seat Gill was in on the far left has been vacated, and I don't know when's the last time I've been able to say I haven't seen Gill on the stage. But I know he's here around giving the team advice. But it looks like the 3 players are probably going to be Preston, Woozy, and Durtho, which I certainly don't disagree with. This was the squad who made it to the CRL World Championships. Didn't make it past the group stage, but just to make it to the World Championships, there's only less than 20 teams that do so, so that means you're pretty high up there as far as Rocket League is concerned, but no matter how good a team you are, sometimes complacency can be the worst enemy, and I think that's one of the things that happened to the Broncos is that they were going up against, what they thought were probably really easy opponents. South Florida hasn't gotten a win this entire season, so, we can take this one easy, and that'll just be your Achilles heel in so many situations. We've got a few match highlights, actually, from what happened last week. Boise State actually went up against 2 teams in the green. They started off against Michigan State and then went up against University of South Florida, and one loss kind of snowballed into another. And it started out pretty competitive. You can see Michigan State and Boise State both held it at 2-all with only 20 seconds left in the match. And then we went on into Forbidden Temple, and I gotta say, once we hit Forbidden Temple, Boise State was really starting to grasp its straws. They did pick up a few good goals here and there, but as you'll see throughout these replays, their goals to tie it up, Boise State was never really in the driver's seat last week. So they were able to match the teams, but you know, as they always say, you always want to play proactively and not reactively, and the Broncos were really in a reactive situation a lot of times. In both of the matches, though, as you can see there, they did manage to pick a game or two off of the other team. Both matches were 3-1-3s, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. But Boise State just wasn't able to ultimately make it happen. And I actually think, no, it wasn't a 1-3. Now that I see this and remember it jogging my memory, I believe this game went all 5 games, actually. Boise State was up at 2-1 and just needed 1 win during the last 2 games to tie it up. But Michigan State held in there for a very exciting match, nail-biting down to the finish. So Boise State ready to go up against Old Dominion University here. We've got the teams loaded in. We'll see how things shake up as we head on into the action. Can the Broncos recover everything that evaded them in the previous season? We're only a few seconds away from finding out and heading on down to the virtual field. And like I said, it'll be a standard. All of the arenas that we fight in, the fields, usually just kind of go back and forth between a more themed location and a more generic one. But it always seems like these stadiums are the ones that teams really prefer. They're just kind of the classics, have been set into competitive rotation since the dawn of time immortal. And the Broncos are going to have to fight hard on this one to be able to try to put themselves up to a lead because, as you saw in the Michigan State game that happened last week, they trailed after the first game. So Boise State, the question is, will they be able to close this one out quick? Will we possibly see a 3-0 sweep, or will we be going all 5 games, just like we did against the match of Michigan State, and I think even against Southern Florida? I think that was the one that went 4 games. So Broncos were in for a long haul last week. We'll see if this week is the same for any of them. I saw kind of toward the end, we saw a bit of coordination breakdown from the Broncos. Hopefully we don't see that this week as we get off into the match. Durtho is first going to take the ball and isn't really able to gain any sort of territory here. We've got blue versus slightly darker blue here. This might be a little bit hard to tell them apart, but I will do my best to keep you all appraised of which sort of blue you want to be cheering for. And right now, Pea Shooter, I know for sure that's not the Broncos. The Broncos are caught up in their own defensive third and are trying to find some sort of clear. Shot off to the side. Pea Shooter comes in for the follow-up, and just like last week, I don't think the Broncos are going to be let off easy here at all. Nice little follow-up on his own play. You had Woozy definitely had the read on that and was trying to get a good contact with it, but evaded him at the last moment. So now Old Dominion up 1-0. Goat demoed off of the kickoff. Durtho comes in around the corner. Let's see if he can get clear. Woozy is able to maintain somewhat of possession after this, but Kuro comes in, pushes the Broncos back up, and we're nearing the first minute pass, and Boise State hasn't gotten any sort of side control whatsoever. They have been pushed up against their own goal almost the entire time. Now that demo onto P-Shirt might clear things up for Woozy to do what he wants. Puts a shot on goal off the crossbar. Preston comes in for a follow-up. Durtho as well, and both of them whiff on it. Durtho did have a bit of interference from the opposing players, but it's not often that we see the Broncos whiff it. Kuro dropping the ball down to center. Durtho has possession of it, goes for the double touch, and is going to get deflected over to the side. Goat God unable to push it past mid as Preston keeping the pressure up. Dominion tries to clear. Boise State comes in around the side. Durtho back over to center. Preston's the one who gets shot on goal. That was a great demo onto P-Shooter, but there was still a save from Kuro in the works. But I like these past few minutes from the Broncos, despite the almost goal that Old Dominion scored there. There was a lot more offensive pressure from them, and this clear that we're seeing coming out from Woozy could lead to even more. Kuro doesn't have anyone to pass to. Preston will take it into the corner, rounds it, centers to Durtho, shot on goal, he finds it, and the Broncos have equalized it. 3 minutes and 4 seconds left in the game. This was a little bit of awkward positioning here. Goatgod, he was the one who would typically rotate in toward back post. He was in that position, but he drove toward the center of, he drove past the center of the net. That put him in an awkward position where he had to reverse, wasn't able to respond to Boise State's shot. Things are tied 1-1. Goat with a pass over to Kuro. P-Shooter will take it with a shot from mid. Durtho gets it and pushes it off to the corner. Woozy now with the opportunity for the save. P-Shooter getting right in his face. Deflects off to the side. Durtho with possession, looking who to pass to. Takes a bounce off a P-Shooter. Kind of takes it away from Durtho entirely and puts the Broncos on the back foot right in front of the goal. Woozy had to win that 50 in order to prevent the shot on goal from Goatgod. He paid for it with his life, but it's to prevent a goal. I think they'll take that trade. Now the Broncos are up into full strength yet again. Woozy, another touch on the ball, but P-Shooter's been doing a great job of interfering with Boise State shots. Now he'll take a shot by himself on the goal. Goatgod will come in for the follow-up. Carry it off to the left. Not centered enough to be a threat onto the Broncos. We're down to about 2 minutes in the first game. Durtho passes to Woozy on the wall. Woozy now takes it. Double touch on the dribble, trying to leave it in for a shot for Durtho. But he's going to get blocked pretty soundly by Old Dominion. Preston, shot from downtown in the upper right corner of the goal. I thought there was a chance that one might go in. Sometimes those shots from mid can sneak up on you. Woozy, nice redirect. Oh my goodness, that one almost turning into another shot on goal. And look at this, Old Dominion. Look how bunched up they are around their goal. Boise State has definitely put a bit of fright into them. They want that lead so badly. Preston trying to take possession away from Old Dominion. Do they rotate in too far? Kuro coming up the side. Isn't able to get that good of a deflect. Woozy comes in for the shot, playing it off the post. Durtho for the follow-up. Doesn't have it. What a save by Goatgod. Leading us into a very competitive final minute. Which team is actually going to take the lead? Woozy back over to the side of the field. Durtho following in tow. Looking over, Woozy in the center. Ready to take this. Pushes it onto the goal, and it's too high up to the left. 1 minute left. Boise State clearly in the lead in shots on goal, having recovered from that first minute beautifully, but they need an actual goal, and Durtho almost gets it, but Goatgod is in there with a save. Broncos going to have to be searching yet again. Pass over to Preston, shot on goal off the crossbars. There, follow-up, Durtho. Everyone is dashing for it desperately. As Boise State is making Old Dominion throw everything they can at the ball to prevent the winning goal from being scored. Preston with possession off the backboard, follow-up. Woozy wins the 50 and gets Boise State into a goal. What a crucial face-off. Right in front of Old Dominion's goal, and Woozy was there by a millisecond to get the shot in. And it's kind of come down to those 50s for a lot of the previous shots on goal the Broncos have had, but this one finally went in their favor. Now the Broncos up to a lead. They just don't need to blow it in the last 15 seconds, and they will have one on the board in this best of 5. Just about 5 seconds left. Woozy and Preston both just trying to get possession of the ball now as the clock hits 0. Ball needs to hit the ground, but as it stays in the air, Old Dominion has a chance to score a tying goal. This is dangerous. It's right up near the Broncos' goal, but the Broncos will actually get the win there. But as we know, as we've seen in the previous week, one win is, of course, we want to start off great, but this is a best of 5 in the past 2 matches the Broncos have had. Last week's Monday, they went more than the 3-game sweep, and Old Dominion put Boise State on the back foot for the past minute or so. So any sort of complacency or taking it easy from the Broncos could prove disastrous for the remainder of this match. I'm not going to count anything until we actually have the final game in the books, and we can say whether Old Dominion or Boise State has walked away with the W in their column. And very important match in what is kind of a reset redemption week for the Broncos. They dropped both their games last week, so they are looking to get in the win column yet again. They got to face off against the Monarchs and Old Dominion University. as we head on down to the second field of the match. And as I teased at the very beginning, it is most likely and most definitely going to be Frozen. No, it is Forbidden Temple. Sorry, I needed to take a drink of water there, get a little bit of a breath. I'm getting way too ahead of myself, and it's only the second game of a best of 5. Let's take a deep breath and be ready to reset. And thank you, production, by the way, for switching over to Boise State's other color, of course. No one can forget it's blue and orange. This will make it a little bit easier to tell things apart between the two teams. Goat God now with possession of the ball. Preston with a nice block in the center. Goes for the flip reset. Continues to take it forward. Blocked by Kuro. Woozy takes a follow-up shot on the goal. Is now going to do of his bit own aerial acrobatics. Durtho can't elevate high up enough to get a touch. Preston will be left up to that, but Durtho stays up near the goal for the follow-up. Puts another one on the goal, and this is really starting to get Old Dominion into kind of a bit of a bunchy situation. You see a double commit right there by the Monarchs as well. It seems whatever strategy Durtho has and Durtho or the Broncos as a whole have of just really frightening the Monarchs is really paying off, as you had a double commit quickly followed by the follow-up shot from Durtho. Boise State now looking really good in game 2, 1-0. After the kickoff, Goat God with possession carries it toward the goal, and it almost goes in. My goodness, Woozy coming in with the save of the century. There's one save to make it into the top 5 highlight reel. That's got to be it. Woozy, you were right there when we needed you. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left. Broncos still holding on to a narrow 1-goal lead. Durtho goes in. I like that boost starving, by the way, against Old Dominion. Took away one of their own corner boosts. And as long as Old Dominion doesn't have the resources to meet the Broncos in the air, then it's basically free reign for the Broncos. Kuro with possession. Looking for a centering onto a teammate. P-Shooter waiting with the shot on the goal. Shot's too high, however, goes up into the backboard. And Durtho able to dribble it all the way by himself. Gets a huge amount of ground. Preston comes in with a pass to Woozy for the shot on goal. P-Shooter comes in. Kuro also with the save. Boise State still held at 1. Preston is able to stop it somewhat. Leave it up in mid. Demonstrated back and forth. Woozy comes in, tries, Preston shoots it off the crossbar. Is there a follow-up from the Broncos? No. They won't bite off more than they can chew. They want to make sure they don't overextend. But look at this from P-Shooter. Oh, I thought he might be able to get it in for a dunk. Shot back. Woozy carrying it off the backboard, trying to dunk it, leaves it for Preston. But one of the Monarchs gets to it before him in that 50. Keeps the goal from being scored. We're about near the halfway mark now, and Boise State with a tentative lead of 1, but it could change at any moment. Double commit by Old Dominion to be able to get the save there, but will result in a clear. Woozy comes in, able to play around one of the Monarchs. Durtho now up the field again. Woozy follow-up shot. It's open, but Kuro gets to it. And I think Preston, him getting demoed, he was the key follow-up player there, so that was stopping Boise State's offensive push. Preston comes in again off the respawn. P-Shooter gets a tap on it. Durtho unable to take a shot. They'll have to settle for a demo onto Goat God, and Preston will join in on it by getting rid of Kuro. Goat Guard elevating to block Durtho. Preston with the shot, back off to the corner. Durtho setting up for Preston, scores! Boise State up 2-0. Sometimes these demos right in the middle, you see Goat God right there, right off of the respawn. Didn't even have a chance to get involved, so it was basically a 3-on-2 for those few seconds, allowing the Broncos to get into an even bigger lead. Now with a minute and a half remaining, 2 goals isn't the worst lead you can have. I think one more would probably seal it, and Woozy agrees. He finds the 3rd goal, and the Broncos now up to a commanding 3-0 lead. What a play. Woozy just reads the bounce off of the wall from way back on the field. It's almost as if it was predestined to head over toward him for the goal. Pea shooter over to Kuro. Oh, that's a great cheat right there. I don't care what team you are. I got to call out a great position like that. Pea shooter, he doesn't win the 50, but Kuro cheats up on the kickoff, right in the position to follow up, taking this back to a 2-goal game. Drops to Old Dominion for pulling that one off. Woozy passes to Durtho in midair. Durtho comes in. Didn't quite find it. Preston unable to play it off the wall. Goat God stopped in mid. Over to the other side of the field. Still more than a minute left. Goat God tries to put another one across midfield mark. Doesn't find it. Boise State, pretty solid defense. Not really allowing a lot of clears. Durtho moves in and is going to have his dribble disrupted. Woozy will take it in off the corner. Durtho following, but Kuro way too close to the ball for Durtho to contest. Pushes it past mid. Broncos now defending. Woozy pass to Durtho. Broncos will get it back toward midfield. Preston has a huge opening here. Old Dominion's moving back to defend, and they'll be able to block the first shot, but now the question is, how many followers can Boise State push onto their goal, or at the very least just keep it in their half of the field and let the clock run out. Durtho back to mid. Woozy takes possession, plays over Pea shooter. Kuro stops it on the front post. Plays over Goat God, has a huge opening led by that demo. Durtho came in, he was just there on the rotation. But I think it is that demo onto one of the Broncos. That was the one who was trying to contest, who was trying to disrupt, and he paid dearly for it. Okay, it's within the Monarchs' grasp. Only 15 seconds as that kickoff started. Now 10. That's a great flip reset back toward the Broncos goal. We're cutting it really close with the Broncos defending in the final few seconds. All they need to do is ground this and they'll have it. Goat God sets it up. Kuro trying to keep the play going. Woozy gets a nice shot off to the corner, and that'll do it. Broncos now up to match point. Well, Old Dominion definitely showing that they're not a team to be counted out. I was really singing the praises of the Broncos with about a minute and a half left in a 3-goal lead. But, to be fair, in standard Rocket League pacing, 30 seconds for a goal is definitely plenty of time to work with, and Old Dominion proved that, especially if you're able to pick up an unexpected goal off of the kickoff. I mean, that cheat game that was just textbook of why you have that second player sometimes cheat up on the kickoff, because sometimes that ball just sits there dead because both players hit it with the exact same force. Well, now we head into the match point for Boise State, this similar position to what they were at last week with Michigan State. And they weren't able to pull out the win there, but now they have 3 chances instead of 2. Old Dominion looking at a full reverse sweep if they want to get the win. Back on down to the field we go. Boise State, how soon will they score the first goal? How big of a lead will they get? 3 is the best that we have seen so far today. But even a 3-goal lead, as we saw in that last game, can still be made up. So Broncos hoping that they can build up a huge lead in this first few minutes, take that possibility away from Old Dominion. But Pea shooter gets a bit of side control right off the kickoff. Preston off the wall, runs right into Goat God. Kuro contests, leaves it for Goat God in mid, carries it pass back to Boise State's goal. Off to the side, it's Corral. Boise State will keep Old Dominion away from a goal for the time being. Woozy past the center with Durtho off to the left of Old Dominion's goal. Isn't quite able to find it, but recenters, leaving it for Preston for a follow-up shot. Doesn't find it. The 50 was won by Old Dominion. They'll be able to deflect it off to the side. But look at this, Preston. Woozy trying to wrestle back control. Centers it around the corner. No follow-up for the Broncos. At least the ball is still in Old Dominion's half. Now Boise State will try to set up another shot on goal. Woozy sees it. Runs right into Kuro, however, who body blocks it and keeps Boise State from scoring a goal. Woozy demos Pea shooter in the goal. Durtho, another demo by Woozy, but of course it's the last player, Kuro, who gets a save, but Preston's going to say, you're the last player. As soon as you contest, it's all over. We're going to come in with our follow-up and score our first goal. All right. 3 minutes, 52 seconds. Boise State up to a 1-goal lead. Kuro, though, the cheats, I'm telling you, from Old Dominion. You got to be careful of them because, again, that looked like it could pay huge dividends. Luckily for the Broncos, it doesn't, and they'll keep on to a 1-0 lead. But at the very least, side control gotten for the first few seconds by Old Dominion. Durtha will clear it back, though. Quickly change the situation. Goat God sets it up for Kuro to try to find the save. Pass, looked like a pass maybe to P-Shooter in the mid, but P-Shooter was way off target, so that ball up for grabs for the Broncos. They'll get it back, and are now back to pressuring Old Dominion. Centering shot, Woozy takes it, oh, and he gets it, a score right there in the middle. You saw a double commit from Old Dominion right in the center of the goal. Look at this, Kuro and Goat God. Goat God in the middle, actually. In the middle of driving up around the goal to reverse himself, runs right into, it was actually P-Shooter who came in at the very last moment. So any sort of forward momentum Goat God would have gotten off of his shot was kind of negated by P-Shooter. Unfortunate situation for Old Dominion, but the Broncos will take a goal and they can get it. They might be looking at another one as they're getting a lot of pressure. On to Old Dominion. Kuro trying to defuse the situation, but unable to find the clear. Preston passes it back to mid. P-Shooter gets a touch, but Boise State pass from Durtho to Preston. Over to Woozy. Shot is off and wide to the right. Doesn't quite get it. Kuro tries to find a clear. Boise State contesting in mid. They don't want this going to their territory. Woozy puts a nice shot on goal. It's actually credited with a shot on goal. It was that accurate. P-Shooter, though, finds the save pretty easily. Preston, Goat God, ooh, that was a close 50. Still, Old Dominion wins it, and they'll be able to get, Kuro tries to put a shot on goal. The game will credit him with it. That is actually the first shot on goal Old Dominion has had all this game. We're already past the halfway mark. Kind of shows how lopsided the offense has been for Boise State in a very crucial game, but Boise State leaves an open goal and they pay for it. Kuro finds a huge shot from way back downtown. Look at this. That is beautifully aimed on the goal. And yeah, just classic scenario, moving up too far, leaving no one in the goal, and now Boise State is holding on to a 1-goal lead. Durtho back to Woozy, isn't able to really make a play off of it. Goat God pass to Kuro, redirect toward the goal. Oh, that was such great coordination by the Monarchs. Oh, doesn't matter what team you're on, when I see a play coordinated that well, I want to see a team be rewarded for it. Kuro also got a nice follow-up shot on Boise State. Bit of pressure, but Boise State's trying to take it back. Kuro, though, puts the Broncos in awkward possession. Preston has to back pass toward his own goal, and be careful he doesn't shoot on his own goal. He won't. Old Dominion back defending. Kuro gets a nice pinch off the wall to send the ball back to mid. Kuro, though, P-Shooter, he's blocked by Woozy. Woozy doing a great job running that interference. Goat God doesn't really have anyone to pass to. Woozy getting right in his face. P-Shooter comes in, up the center. This could be a tag team with P-Shooter and Kuro. He pops it up, trying to set P-Shooter up for a shot, but Durtho now has control of it in mid. And over to Woozy for a shot on goal, but doesn't quite find it. Kuro, though, Boise State, they left the goal open again. Ugh, we are tied up again 2-2 both times of the Broncos just getting entirely too careless on where they position themselves on the field. Any other scenario, Boise State entering into a match point this early on in the actual game might be saying it's probably done for them, but these past few weeks, if anything, have made me a huge skeptic for the Broncos. They have a chance here, but nope, Kuro will push that back to mid. The other teams have shown that they can easily put one on the board. Goat God with a shot to put Old Dominion into the lead. What an explosive final minute. Boise State, they had someone rotating in. It was Durtho, but he misreads it and goes flying as Goat God plays under him. Sometimes that's the changeup that they pull out. You know, similar to baseball, sometimes you throw them off with the slow ball. Sometimes it's play. Oh my goodness, P-Shooter. I told you not to sit on Old Dominion off of these kickoffs. In less than a minute, things have changed drastically for the Broncos. We are at least going to see a game 4. Well, maybe not. Boise State would have to score one off of this kickoff. And they do it. No, the kickoffs have been Old Dominion's wheelhouse, especially the follow-up for this match. Woozy, oh, nice shot on goal. Goat God credited with the save. Preston again trying to center it up. Boise State knows they need to score, and they need to score now. Kuro pushes it off to the side. Durtho will try to center it again. P-Shooter comes in for the contest. Plays it past Preston. Woozy rotates over, trying to get control of the ball. Goat God is demoed. I don't think that will play much, though, in the next few seconds, because now it is impossible for the Broncos to tie it back in Old Dominion. Just for a bit of razzle-dazzle, we'll score one as the clock hits 0, making the scoreline in Game 3 5-2 for the Monarchs. And it all comes back down to those fundamentals. You know, sometimes if you're in any sport, you know, my wheelhouse, or at least sports my family's played, no, not everyone plays it or has that high opinion of it, but golf, if you talk to any pro, one of the main things they'll say is kind of keep your head down throughout the whole thing. And they say it over and over again, and you start to wonder if they're sounding like a broken record, but it's a talking point for a reason. And similarly in Rocket League, not overextending, making sure you have someone rotating to back post. I mean, you could just set it up inside, you know, keep your head down, back post, head down, rotations. There's just a method to the madness here in making sure that your team doesn't go too far up, because as we can see, those shots that look like they might just be clears toward mid can easily become shots on goal for the other team. So Boise State now is not going to be denied a sweep. Has to recover against the Monarchs, who that was probably one of the most explosive comeback minutes I've ever seen from a team. And to be fair, I've been seeing some good plays by Old Dominion, and I did say earlier on that if I see a team, no matter who they are, making good plays, coordination, I want to see them be rewarded for it. So props to Old Dominion, putting the Broncos on the back foot. It is a Boise State broadcast, but I will give praise as I see it. Whatever team is on the field, I calls them as I sees them. Bit of a pinch between two Old Dominion players to try to get some side control, though Boise State setting the ball up for a possible early shot on goal, but Woozy's caught in the corner. He's going to be able to center it. Preston comes in with the follow-up. That's textbook. That's a great start from the Broncos that I love to see. And I was just talking about positioning. I mean, you can talk about overextending. You can also say something about bunching up around the ball. Old Dominion was in front of their own goal. All three players caught in the red zone, so to speak. No one really able in a good position to contest Boise State's shot. Gokon, though, trying to clear, trying to even things up, and he was one player going against three Broncos, but my goodness, that was a scary shot on goal. Durtho takes it. Woozy has to try to keep it going on mid. Kuro gets a nice tap on it, pushes the Broncos back on the field. Kuro, nice demo onto Preston as well. Old Dominion doing as much as they can to wrestle this side control back from the Broncos. Preston puts one back toward mid. Durtho pushes it off to the side. Kuro reads it again. And a demo onto Preston leaves things pretty open for Old Dominion. They score it, and they've tied it up with 4 minutes left. 1-1. I don't know if there are any Monarchs fans in the virtual audience right now if it made the trouble to come to a Boise State broadcast, but your team has given a performance that is at least keeping me on the edge of my caster's desk here, because, man, you just can't expect when Old Dominion is just going to come out with an explosive play. Talk about explosive plays, possible one here. Goat God able to just gingerly, with the help of Kuro, push it off to the side. Very scary positioning from the Monarchs, but they are tied up. We head into the second minute of the game. P-Shooter coming in. Woozy is able to block. Can he turn that into a clear though? Goat God contests with him in mid. Durtho, nice redirect off the crossbar. Gets the Broncos back into the lead. It is insane here. This is just so beautiful. I mean, that is as dead center as you could possibly get. I don't know if we could get a freeze frame and someone could like count the frames on both sides of the goal, but that I'd call that as dead center. In terms of horizontal, vertical is right off the crossbar, but man, that was right down the middle. back onto the game. Boise State back in the lead. Can Old Dominion tie it up, though? That's a good shot on goal. Woozy will be able to save. Another ball placed into mid. Goat God unable to take the shot he was looking for. Woozy now in some good position. Ian's going to go around the corner. Cora will block it. Durtho now takes the ball, tries to pinch it off the ground. What a play! Durtho coming in with the highlight plays just when Boise State needs them. Sometimes a good old-fashioned ground can be your best teammate, as well as the crossbar, but let's be real, Hill. Crossbar is never going to be contested as the best fourth man, if you will. The ground can only dream of being the player that the crossbar can be. Preston takes a shot, leaves it for Woozy, and it's going to try to be dunked down, doesn't get it. Boise State looking to bring this to a 3-goal lead. Kuro, though, and I don't know it. Oh! Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? I need to see the replay on that. I don't know if we can do that in the highlights as the game ends, but that looked like a wide open shot to me. And Old Dominion whiffed it. Oh my good! I was singing their praises so much, and a play like that happens. I mean, hey, the Broncos aren't going to complain. They'll take it. Woozy now elevating up, gets one touch, two, turning it into a dribble. Nice redirect by Durtho, and a well-earned hat trick. That's kind of one of Durtho's specialties, is being able to redirect the ball so dependably. All right, now 2 minutes left. 3-goal lead for the Broncos. Things looking good. Of course, if you remember the last game and even the game before that, 3-goal lead with more than a minute 30 left on the clock, it's still anybody's game. Old Dominion looking to prove that. Almost gets another shot on goal. Follow up by P-Shooter up into the backboard, and the ball is placed off to the side. But Old Dominion is hungry. They're roaring for another goal. Can they get past Woozy? No, they cannot. He'll get the save. Boise State now on the counterattack. Durtho taking it. Clear over to the far corner. Kuro and P-Shooter will juggle it between each other, get back on to Boise State territory. Durtho plays off the wall, goes for the double touch. Flip reset continues, but the ball gets away from him. Around the corner, Woozy passes to Durtho. Up in the air. Doesn't look like Durtho can do much with it. Goat God plays it past Preston, but ball too far off to the side. Oh, look at this shot, right? Oh, Kuro, I thought he would be the one. He goes in for the shot on goal, but can't get there in time, and the ball just rolls right past to the other side of Boise State's goal. We have 1 minute left, and now things are really starting to look dire for Old Dominion. They have less than 20 seconds for each goal, and I think with a shot like that, Durtho almost gets the final nail in the coffin for the Broncos, but it bounces off one of the posts, and that could turn into a counterattack goal here by Old Dominion. Can Woozy get possession of this ball? That's going to be huge. Can he get a good touch? Preston unable to elevate up high enough, and P-Shooter shot on open goal. This game is not over by a long shot. The constant thorn in Boise State's side this game of leaving their own goal open. They're laughing behind me on stage. They're saying no problem, so there must have been some sort of shenanigans leading them to take this one quite lightly, but I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous. 30 seconds left. It isn't unheard of to score 2 goals in 30 seconds, especially since we've seen Old Dominion be so good right after the kickoffs. It's now down to 20 seconds. Gets down to 15, and Boise State can push a goal here. There was a double commit by them moving up the field, however. I'm a bit nervous about that. Could leave an opportunity here for a shot on goal. It does. Go God, and P-Shooter drive it in. 10 seconds left, and only 1 goal separating these two teams. Do not tempt fate. Do not tempt the Monarchs. This is going to be the ultimate kickoff right here with 10 seconds left. And remember, even if that clock hits 0, as long as the ball stays in the air, Old Dominion could still make it. That's a huge demo against Durtho. P-Shooter unable to win that 50. However, this is great positioning for the Broncos. All they need is the side control to run out the timer. It needs to hit the ground, and the Broncos do so and walk away with the win. But only 1 goal left as Old Dominion puts quite a rally on the board. The Broncos will close it out. Oh, my goodness. Man, That game, there were a lot of similarities between that last game and stuff we saw last week of teams making spectacular comebacks and catching Boise State off guard. But this time, thankfully for all the Broncos fans, the ending will be a happy one as Boise State is able to hold on to their lead and end it 3-1. But Old Dominion, my goodness, you sure gave us quite a show. There's going to be so many nail-biting highlights for this match. I can't wait to see them, and they will be brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. They have many jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for while you work here. In fact, you can live here, work here, and serve here. If you're part of the Idaho Army National Guard, you can reach out to them on Instagram at iGuardIdaho. But as far as this game and tonight is concerned, I'm Jacob Palmer. I'll close out with the top 5 plays of the game, and then stay tuned because we've got a woozy interview right after this. Talk about what happened in that incredible game. For now, though, top 5 plays. Idaho Army National Guard. Enjoy them. We'll be right back with an interview. For Boise State in a very crucial game, but Boise State leaves an open goal and they pay for it. Kuro finds a huge shot from way back. Stops it on the front post, plays over Goat God, has a huge opening led by that demo. Durtho came in, he was just there. Into kind of a bit of a bunchy situation. You see a double commit right there by the Monarchs as well. It seems whatever strategy Durtho has, with the shot back off to the corner. Durtho setting up for Preston, scores! Boise State up 2-0. Pressuring Old Dominion, centering shot. Woozy takes it, and he gets it, a score right there in the middle. You saw a double commit from Old.
Home is where you hang your hat. Home is where you hang your hat. Snuggle up. Hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Once there was a traveler whose feet never left the ground. With only his mind as his map and his senses his compass, he raced into the great unknown, armed only with the speed of legend. His trails he blazed, his rivals he played. Every sprint a blur, every turn trusting his allies. In silence he raged and waged with quickening, sickening speed. His name a chant filling arenas. Because some heroes leave footprints, others an afterburn. Without conflict, there is no resolution. Without verses, there is no victory.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. We just saw Boise State pick up a win against Old Dominion in NACE Rocket League. Well-earned win for them, but a rather scary one at that, as Old Dominion was up to quite a rally at the end. And I was holding my breath for sure at that final 10 seconds of Game 4. As I catch my breath, though, I think I'm no better person to go to than one of the actual players to kind of delve into what happened during that last match. In this case, we've got Woozy joining us up here on the stage. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Also looking sharp in the blue jersey. I think those are the sharpest ones
No.
here, the actual blue ones.
No, this one's definitely my favorite one.
So, take us into what led up to this match, because Boise State last week going up against Michigan State, South Florida, had a couple of unexpected losses. So what was the main thing kind of done over the weekend to lead to this victory we saw here on Monday?
I mean, for the match here today, it was just good to be here early. It was good to prepare, and we've played this team before. We've beat them before. So we just knew to play our game. We felt like we had them in the speed department. We felt like we were able to put more shots on net than they were, and we felt like that would be the key to beating Old Dominion here today.
We had a rather explosive final minute in Game 3, however. I mean, Old Dominion scored about 4 goals in less than a minute. So what was kind of done to reset between Games 3 and 4 to secure the win?
I mean, they were putting up a fight even going into Game 4. It was kind of difficult to bounce back from that. They definitely felt like they were stretching a lot more than what we intentionally thought they would. Given that we were able to get a few demos, able to clear up some space and allow them to get off our backs a little bit, and that helped us create more plays for ourselves.
Now, we might see it a little bit later on in this highlight reel, but around Game 4, the last game, I believe, there was some sort of positioning error or something. I heard audible laughing from the stage, and then Preston immediately said, "It's all right," after Old Dominion scored their second goal of Game 4. What happened?
I mean, that's the best way to bounce back from any mistake that we may have, is just to laugh it off and understand that you go next. And that's the joys of being really good friends with my teammates, is like we're able to move past those. But sometimes it just happens, you know. Sometimes you're just not – the ball doesn't go where you thought it was going.
Yeah, that was quite a nail-biter with that third goal from Old Dominion scored. Third goal from Old Dominion scored with 10 seconds left. So, here's the thing. If you can see over my shoulder, we've got how the standings looked after last week, all of these names and schools that you still have left to fight. Looking at this list of who you've got to go up against later on in the season, who are you looking out for?
I mean, obviously Oakland. Oakland will be fun to play. I'm good friends with everybody on Oakland, and I think they will give us a good run. I think Oakland will be my favorite match to play.
Yeah, it could actually be the match. I mean, since you got the win here going to 3-2, that could be the actual match to decide who's first place in the overall season. So definitely you're going to want to tune into that when we have the match against Oakland. But for now, thank you so much for joining us up here, Woozy, giving us a little bit of an insight, and we wish you the best of luck in the next few weeks.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. But, of course, stay tuned with us throughout the entire week, because we've got games going on all this week. Tuesday, we've got Overwatch. Wednesday, Valorant. Thursday, Smash Brothers. And this Saturday, we're going to have matches from, I believe it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., so basically all day in the CECC West Regionals. Do not miss that, because that's a huge match, a huge tournament for the Broncos. But for now, though, the Broncos can rest on their win. Good way to start the week on this Monday. We'll see you next time Tuesday. Tomorrow, have a good one.